Hi, welcome back to Figs Talks Fights. I'm your host, Brian Figueredo. Today, I'm going to give you a quick brief down and preview of tonight's UFC 250 card, with the main event being your featherweight and bantamweight champion, Amanda Nunes, taking on Felicia Spencer. So, let's get into it. Now, on paper, Amanda Nunes, boy, does she ever deserve to be the favorite. She is your only female double champ that's ever existed in the UFC. I get the female, mixed martial arts has only been in the UFC. Women's MMA has been in the UFC for the last 7 years, okay? Quite a feat, that within 7 years, we already got a double champ, okay? Tonight's going to be Amanda Nunes' first featherweight title defense since winning the title against Cris Cyborg at the end of December in 2018. Did it in less than a minute too. Finishing Cyborg in less than a minute. Holy shit. Now, Felicia Spencer also got to fight Cris Cyborg right in that fight, coming off her loss to Amanda Nunes. And Felicia Spencer had a great showing, okay? This was in July of 2019 when the two of them fought. And Felicia Spencer, she took some power shots from Cris Cyborg. She was able to control Cris on the cage for moments in time in the fight. Never really backed down. You could see she had zero fear of taking on somebody like Cyborg. She is going to be a tremendous challenge to Nunes today. Now, if these two were just fighting as a one-off fight, I mean, forget their streaks and their backgrounds. You got to favor Amanda Nunes. You got to favor Amanda Nunes regardless. But Amanda Nunes is coming in off a 10-fight winning streak. Now, here's the thing to note and to think about. Even the best of the best, they all eventually fall. Every single one of them. Now, there's been a lot of crazy things going on in the world the last 4 or 5 months. Do I even need to mention it? Between the pandemic still going on, and all the riots happening in the United States and protests around the world. Let's not get into it, okay? But Amanda Nunes, she's also expecting her first child, okay? Her and her partner, Nina Ansaroff, okay? Nina is pregnant, and they're expecting them or their child to be due sometime early in the fall. There's a lot on her mind right now. So 10 fights in a row, winning in dominant fashion, okay? With the most recent one coming off from UFC 245 of December of 2019, putting on a great fight against Germaine de Randamie, showing she can go 5 full rounds, look great in the stand-up department, look great on the ground as well. Got herself in a tiny bit of trouble for a couple of moments there with Germaine de Randamie, but is a pure champion like she is, comes back and just dominated that fight. Maybe tonight is the night that Felicia Spencer can just catch her on an off night. You never know. I mean, we're living in a world where, Matt Serra knocked out George St. Pierre, okay? Cody Garbrandt, TJ Dillashaw came in when Renan Barão was the #1 pound-for-pound guy in the world. Upsets happen in this sport all the time. So, this is going to be interesting. On the feet, you have to favor Amanda, okay? She has a great bone structure and big paws and fists where, she literally, you can see it on these women's faces. When they get hit by her, they're confused. Even when she originally won the title against Miesha Tate at UFC 200, after that, Miesha Tate was saying, look, I have sparred with a ton of men, big guys, big powerful guys in the gym. I don't think anybody has ever hit me as hard as Amanda Nunes is, okay? Take that for what it is. But Felicia Spencer, out of the two of them, she's going to be the bigger girl, okay? She's going to be able to push some weight around on Amanda. At least on paper, it looks like. Should be an interesting fight. Don't know what to predict. Like I said, if this was a one-off, for sure you got to have Amanda all day. But the longer the win streaks go, especially at the high level, we just saw it with Tony Ferguson, like 3-4 weeks ago against Justin Gaethje. He was on a 12-fight winning streak. Look, these streaks are going to end sooner or later. Anderson Silva still holds the record at 16. Chris Weidman came in and said, no mas. So, great title fight. Looking forward to that. In your co-main event, you got Cody Garbrandt taking on Rafael Assunção. Now, Cody Garbrandt, I mean, can we give him a tune-up fight? Not in the UFC. Rafael Assunção, I mean, this guy should have got 3 title shots in the bantamweight division. He's now coming off 2 losses to Marlon Moraes and Cody Sandhagen. No shame in losses in either of those gentlemen. But, I mean, he was on a 7-fight winning streak before that. Completely ignored for a title shot. Cody Garbrandt, he's on a 3-fight losing streak. He has not won since December of 2016 when he initially dethroned Dominic Cruz to capture the bantamweight title. I mean, Cody Garbrandt was about to break out as a star. Let's see what the hell he can do tonight. He's still with Team Alpha Male, but he spent a lot of time recently working with Mark Henry over on the East Coast, working on his hands and his striking with Mark Henry. Look, Mark Henry is a genius. Anybody that's ever worked with him, I mean, you can see visible results the next time around, but this is a tough ask for Cody Garbrandt to just come back and have a great showing against Rafael Assunção. So, should be interesting if Assunção can even take this fight to the ground. Assunção has great fundamentals on the feet. He's not as much of a power striker as Cody Garbrandt is. Okay, if Cody Garbrandt can just avoid getting into a brawl, and in his last fight, I think it was against Pedro Munoz, he just started trading shots, having too much fun out there, getting overly excited, and got caught. This is a little over a year ago, so he's had some time for his chin to heal. He's had some time to develop and nurse any old injuries, and then work on some flaws that he had in his game prior to this. So, great fight. We'll see what happens. Also on the card, you have Cody Sandhagen versus Aljamain Sterling. What do you want to say about this fight? I mean, since Henry Cejudo just walked away from the sport about 3-4 weeks ago and just relinquished the bantamweight title. Look, this should be the bantamweight title fight. All right? I get that maybe overplayed, but look, whether it's an opinion out there or not, it's one I have to agree with. I get that the UFC wants to go with Peter Yan versus Jose Aldo. Maybe there's some more name value in that. But I mean, as far as the rightful top #1 and #2 guys in this division, you can make the argument that it is Aljamain Sterling or Cody Sandhagen. And both these gentlemen, either one of them, should have been fighting Henry Cejudo 4 weeks ago or 3 weeks ago when Dominic Cruz won or went to go fight him. So, who knows? I mean, both these guys, unorthodox, okay? Cody Sandhagen, you have to give him the edge on the feet, okay? He's got a great kickboxing background. I believe he was a national kickboxing champion. If he wasn't, he was actually a world kickboxing champion, or both, okay? Aljamain Sterling, spending some time with Mark Henry recently as well, okay? He came out of the Sarah Longo camp. I don't know what's going on with the Sarah Longo team, but I heard this week that they're not going to be in his corner. Look, he's had a great time with these guys, getting experience with his hands, improving his kicks. He's learning how to get his range a hell of a lot better since his loss to Marlon Moraes, okay? His kicks, he stays very long in there. Cody Sandhagen, very unorthodox on his feet, has a lot of great setups. As far as the wrestling department is concerned, I'd give the edge to Aljamain Sterling. If Aljo can take this fight to the ground, on paper, I would favor him. But, I mean, Cody Sandhagen is a hell of a scrambler himself. I mean, these guys, very wiry. These are some of the 2 tallest and longest guys in the bantamweight division. We may be looking at the future of the bantamweight division in this fight alone. So, another great one. So, also on the card, who the hell is up next? Oh, Neil Magny and Anthony Rocco Martin. Look, Rocco Martin, Anthony Martin, Tony Martin, whatever the hell he wants to go by. He used to fight at 155 pounds, coming out of American Top Team, all right? He's been on an up and down streak himself, okay? And you got Neil Magny coming in, I think from a return from a suspension under USADA. This is a great fight, okay? I'm going to have to favor Neil Magny. He is much taller, much longer than Rocco Martin. But I mean, Rocco Martin has power in his hands. He's got grit. He's an incredible wrestler. He's got a great team at American Top Team. So this is a good test for Neil Magny. Is he going to stay within the top 10 of the welterweight division and continue to climb up the ranks before he ran into Rafael dos Anjos a few years back that just ended his hot winning streak? Or is Rocco Martin finally going to break in and become a contender in the welterweight division? Okay, and now the curtain jerker of this main card, you have Sean O'Malley and Eddie Wineland. Look, if you are a new or a newer fan of MMA, you may not even know that Eddie Wineland used to be the WEC Bantamweight champion. And now the WEC back in those days was still under the Zuffa organization. So pretty much at 145 pounds and 135 pounds, I mean, it didn't say UFC on that title belt, but that was a Zuffa-owned company. The best of the world at 135, 145 used to fight at the WEC. I mean, you could make an argument for Shudo or even Dream or Ryzen. But anyhow, nonetheless, especially in North America, Eddie Wineland is no slouch. He's also fought for the Bantamweight title. I believe it was September of 2013. He took on Renan Barão, and this is when Renan Barão was hot. This is a great test for Sean O'Malley. Now, Sugar Sean O'Malley just came back from a USADA suspension. I think he fought in the beginning of March. Okay, had a great showing. Looked incredible on the feet. Finished his opponent within 2 minutes. Now it's time to test, where is Sean O'Malley's ceiling? Is he going to be a contender? He's a young guy, very promising guy, very marketable guy. But it's time for some real competition. Eddie Wineland is going to be just that. I mean, that guy is a fighter at heart. And if you don't know Eddie Wineland's story, okay, give you a bit of a backstory. He has a brother that got caught in a house fire years ago, okay, and literally almost lost his life, getting second and third degree burns all over his body. And Eddie Wineland, anytime he's in a tough bout, says he always thinks of his brother, and you can see it in this man's eyes. There's been fights where Eddie Wineland was getting his ass kicked, outclassed, and you could tell something triggered off in there, and he's thinking about his brother having to endure flames. Think about that for a sec. I mean, if you touch a fucking pot or a pan that's too hot, bet you're running for some ice or some cold water immediately just to avoid. This guy's body was on fire and he survived. And Eddie Wineland digs deep into that. So Sean O'Malley, maybe from a technical level, from where his skills have shown to be so far, he looks more promising than Eddie Wineland in the twilight of his career. But I mean, he's going to have a tough test with some heart being thrown at him tonight. So should be a great card. Overall, it's going to start in about 3 or 4 hours. I apologize. It's been an insane week for me with my job and family and the pandemic and shit. So I apologize. I just got this video out today. Had to get it out nonetheless. So I'll do another video breaking this card down, or at least going over some of the highlights of it ASAP. Okay, so if you haven't already, please subscribe to this channel. If you like the content, give it a thumbs up. I appreciate you watching very much. And until next time,